And good evening, everyone. This is Doug Marola with Freelance Teacher, and it is one of these evening video casts, which is why the lighting is a little weird. But I want to talk to you about the LaGuardia airport experience driving Uber, particularly in compared to the JFK experience, which I have an earlier video on that, and that was disappointing, very difficult to pull off, and the JFK queue was very long, and I wound up leaving. LaGuardia was a different story. It's good but not great. What do I mean by that? What happens usually when you're driving Uber in New York City is you'll get a rider who's going from, this is 90% of the time, from Manhattan to LaGuardia Airport, which is going to get you, you can almost write it in stone, it's going to get you more than $20. And if there's no traffic, you get there in 20 minutes, it's $1 a minute. You'll like that very much. If it's from way downtown, it's more. So the trips to the airport are good. You want to go to the airport. Here's the problem. You're now at the airport, and how do you pick people up? Well, with the Uber FHV for hire vehicle world, at JFK, you go to the cell phone lot and wait in the queue, or the limousine lot. LaGuardia was different. I didn't know how it worked. I just went into LaGuardia and dropped somebody off, and one time I just left. I just drove away. Well, what happened the next time was I had dropped the passenger off and given them their rating and ended the transaction, and I got a ride from Uber Pool. And so what happened was I saw where I had to go and I picked them up. And then I got another thing for Uber Pool after putting that person in the car. And then while that was going on, I got a third ping for Uber Pool. So what I wound up doing is just happening to be in the airport when a plane came in, I guess, and I had 3 people in the vehicle. I had their stuff in the trunk, and I drove them all to Manhattan. And the entire thing probably took about 45 minutes, but I made probably $40 on the ride back to Manhattan. So that was a pretty good thing in all, because what happened was I did not waste the ride out of the airport, and that's really the key thing. One or two other times, I did a bunch of trips to the airport, and over the 2 weeks that I did, these previous 2 weeks, I can't remember everything, but what happened was the same kind of thing, but Uber X had pinged. So I dropped someone off, and then on my slow ride to the airport, out of the airport, I got a request to pick up a passenger. So, and then we went to Manhattan, and one time I drove them to Brooklyn. And those are good money rides, and they don't waste the trip away from the airport. So it didn't happen every time. So at LaGuardia, because you're in Queens in New York City, what you should do that I did that worked is I drove on the Parkway towards Manhattan as if you're taking the Triborough Bridge, and I got off at 31st, and I just drove south on 31st towards the Queensboro 59th Street Bridge, and usually before I got to the bridge, I picked somebody up. One time I picked somebody up in Queens, in Astoria type area, who wanted to go back to the airport. So okay, we went back to LaGuardia, and then I repeated the process and drove towards the 59th Street Bridge on 31st, down through Queens, toward the Queensboro 59th Street Bridge. Only once did I get to the 59th Street Bridge and go across before I got into Manhattan and started doing the Manhattan thing in picking up rides with relative frequency. So LaGuardia is better, clearly, because you're in Queens, because I got pinged for rides while I was at LaGuardia. It was clearly, for me, again, in my short time as a driver, a better deal than JFK. So wait for the ping in LaGuardia. If you want to drive around the airport a few times, you could do that, right? You could just make the circle and go from terminal to terminal and drive around and wait. You could pull that off. If there's a place for FHV vehicles to sit, just like they have for the yellow cabs, I don't know if they do. I didn't see one. Maybe there is a place, but I didn't see one. But so that's how that works. And then again, if all else fails and it's just not working, you're not picking up, go into Queens and head generally south towards Brooklyn, towards the 59th Street Bridge, and wend your way towards Manhattan. It's still a better shot than being stuck out in boony Queens by JFK Airport, where there's just not a lot of churn. There's just not a lot of ridership out there, from what I could tell. All right, so comment below. Hello to all my legions of fans who've been contacting me back. And drive safely, and let me know how it went for you. We are sharing some good info here, and I'll talk to you soon. This is the Freelance Teacher at thefreelanceteacher.com. Talk to you later.